This is how I start on a project like this. Get up under here and just look at everything first. I've not run the truck since yesterday, and I still have to get up under the hood and bleed off the pressure from the fuel system. But just look and see if you can tell anything that's obvious. Why does it look wet? It's not. Let me smell it. Does not smell like gas. Yeah, looky here. Vacuum canister. A little wet. It's weird though, it doesn't smell like fuel. Is this coming back? Oh, okay, I see what's going on. You see up there? Let me zoom in a bit for you. See that wetness on there? And it's on the driver's side because see it gets dry over there. Yeah, we should probably figure that out too. I'm going to take this shield off first. Looks like we got some 13 millimeters on there. Well, I got a different angle now. The front of the vacuum canister or charcoal canister, whatever you want to call it. It basically recirculates all the unburned fuel back into the engine and gets it all burned off. But look at the wetness on that critter too. I still think it's oil. The transmission seal is dry. Transmission mount is kind of funky. Well, that's totally gone. Smoked. Only 275,000 miles when I switched that. Yeah, I'm thinking the moisture's coming from over there, or maybe even right here, maybe even one of those rear seals, the plates inside there. But we're doing a fuel pump today. When I say LS engines, just assume that I mean like truck engines, car engines, everything, LQ, LM, L33. But this little piece right here, you can have an external oil cooler. It's just two little 10 millimeter bolts. But these things are so notorious for leaking right here. Or you could always, you know, double gasket your oil filter without paying attention. But it looks very wet right around here. Yeah, I got something going up in there. I have to address that. And some of that wetness is way up in there too. Well, I got the safety guard off. Look inside here, see if anything looks funky. A little bit of moisture there, but once again, we don't even know how that got in there. And the leading edge is a little damp up there. This comes off with just 3 bolts, 13 millimeter. You see over here, it's the bolts, and on the other side, it kind of goes up over some tabs, and then comes right out. You and I have something in common, and that is watching videos on YouTube. No matter how many times I've done something, no matter how easy I think it's going to be, I check out videos on it, like when they say to put some penetrant on these and then do not use an impact to get them out. Because boy, you break that one, you're in a bad way. It's a 15 millimeter. There's the good news. Bad news is that thing just, there's a little nut that's tacked on top of that bracket and it just came loose. That broke instead of the, so the bolt's about 4 threads free. And I need to kind of figure out how I'm going to get up in there and either cut that or grind it off, or because, you know, gas tank. I have an idea. There's a tube, a little cross member here. Look at that. Look inside there. Look inside there. See the top of the bolt? That's it right there. I'm going to try to stick some kind of pliers in there or something and hold the nut. Well, I got it cleaned out first, but that's the plan. Let's do it. Well, I don't feel a nut on there. I think what I'm going to do is put something inside there and expand it so I can kind of force the bolt down as I'm backing it out. Because I don't see, maybe the nut is between this cross member and the bracket. I don't know, but either that or it's just almost gone because I just spun it around and it did nothing. I must admit I came out here prepared for war. However, all I did was stick a screwdriver between the bracket and the frame. But look at the bolt that came out. We're getting a new one. That's why it was spinning. It had nothing to do with how it was captured. This was just eaten away. That's crazy, man. Huh. Let's drop the tank in an arguably unsafe and unprofessional manner. I'm going to take off this engine cover, and then I'm going to get down in the fuel rail down in there and bleed off the pressure with a rag. I'll show you that. By the way, the screwdriver that I'm using for this is the one that I forgot in the back frame rail. So you might want to bypass that step. Just pull the screwdriver out after the tank straps are undone. I know some of you are going, wow, he got the fire breathing 4.8 on this one. Yep, that's because in 09, out of all the V8s, guess which one of them does not have AFM DOD? Yeah, if you'll notice, I don't even know if you can see way down in there. Let's see that flat valley pan. Yeah, none of that AFM DOD crap on here. Just noticed something when I did this, and that is when I put the screwdriver down on that Schrader valve to let off the pressure, there wasn't any there. What the truck's been doing in the past is, if you get in it and start it, it's very slow to start, but if you turn the key forward, give it a cycle to build up pressure. See, that can be lots of things. But for it to drain off the pressure, that's a pretty good indication that what I suspect is wrong with it is wrong with it. I don't suspect the fuel pump itself is bad. I suspect the tubes coming in and out of it are bad and rusty like they do so often on here. You'll see in just a couple of minutes when I take out the tank, there's like a little area that's set down on the top of the tank, and moisture and salt and all kinds of stuff gets in there. And this was a northern truck. Well, not northern, Kentucky. But you can tell by looking up under there in the bedside, there's rust on it, so, and the rockers and stuff. So let's get down there and take the tank out. There is such a thing as front and back on the brackets. It's kind of hard to mess it up because if you put the wrong one on, this will be too big for the front. This will be too small for the back. So big back. Remember, Sir Mix-a-Lot. Remember, baby got back. The big one in the back. Some punks like to hit it and quit it, but I like to stay and play. Well, it's down, and look at that. Look at how rusty. They should have made these out of stainless steel like everybody else on every other video I've watched says. Now we have to detach a couple of these lines. And there's a vent up here. A couple little things. This is all pretty self-explanatory. Just look at it, and this one's already on the ground. I could have put a trans jack under it or something, but there's just enough room for it to slide out. I'm going to disconnect these clips and probably going to have to maybe even buy a line there because I can't see this just slipping right out of there with no issue. But there you have it. There's our filler. If you want, you can put something over the end of that piece of tape or something. This is what I suspected would be wrong. See that right there? I have to dig out the bits of rusted metal, see if I can get that out of there. And if not, this line is only, I don't know, it's probably 2.5 feet long. I'm gonna see if I can do that. Also, you'll see these are just unbelievably crusty. I'm gonna take this one off and this one off, and the new one will replace all of this. It even has the new trim ring that locks it all down. But I gotta take all this apart and do just kind of manual labor for a little while here and see if I can make all this stuff work. These clips right here, you're gonna have to just pray to your God and hope that you can figure it out. They have such strange connectors and locking mechanisms. You're just gonna have to go in there with like a pick. You can kind of see it has a little piece on each side there that kind of, yeah, maybe like one screwdriver on each side. You'll figure it out. Okay, this one I was able to save. See how it's nice and shiny on the end? It's weird how this thing can be in fuel for 15 years and have no corrosion on it, but salt water and everything else just... By the way, before you take this out, clean all this stuff from around the top, because there's one place it's going to want to go, and that's right down inside there. I've done a few of these that have been pretty easy over the years, but not this one. Man, I was just wailing on that thing. I'm going to have to really clean this up. But now, right before you lift this centerpiece out, one last clean around the edges. Get everything you can from around it. Also, you may want to have your other one ready so you're not letting, you know, you don't have to run into the house and grab the other one and all that. Have the other box right here beside you, like I just reminded myself. Here's the new one directly from China, I'm assuming. New gasket, instructions. Well, that thing barely fits in that box. All right. Ooh, and it's strapped to the box. In case the manufacturer is watching and I have a warranty claim. Blow up. Alright. Alright. Sweet. I'm actually not expecting the inside of this to look bad at all because it's been in a pretty clean area. Hasn't been out in the funk. All right, it's gonna come out, and then I'll have to kind of tilt it at an angle because the fuel level thing down it is in down it. I might have to use another. I'm gonna have to use another hand. Yeah, I just needed to for a second there. Let all the fuel drain out, right all over the ground. See, that looks pretty good in there. Now that comes out totally the rest of the way. Place that far, far, far away from you. That was supposedly 1/8 of a tank, and there's all kinds of gas in there. Maybe my needle's been off a little bit, that sender. I have all new parts now, though. New float, all that. Gonna pop this on there and submerge that in the fuel. That new one just snaps right into the bracket, and if you're wanting to know what it looks like, you have the old one right there as a reference. Remember to get this surface right here just downright clean and wiping outward so none of that funk gets up inside the tank. I know you have filters and all that kind of stuff, but let's not introduce anything more than we have to. Wipe away. This should be okay now. Drop the seal in there and then drop the whole module in place. Remember when the fuel pump used to mount on the side of the engine or down below it or on a frame rail? Doesn't do that anymore. Do not forget your seal, because if you do, this will be a really bad, smelly failure of a disaster. Okay, new one sitting down in there. The seal is nice and centered. Now you're gonna have to, because the bottom part is sprung, before you put that trim ring in there, the locking ring, you're gonna have to shove this down as you do it, which takes 2 hands, so it will never be documented in this video, dang it. Looks like it's on there. Too bad I cannot totally finish this until I get this thing figured out, and I may just have to buy another line. I'm gonna call like O'Reilly and see if anybody has one of these. Like I said, it's not a big long line, but it's a pretty specialized line. Once again, this is a good news, bad news kind of moment. There's the fitting. Here's the end of the line. Quite literally. Man, I don't even know if I'm gonna make that able to work again or not. It's kind of a shame that that little 22-cent part inside there, which is not available, could make it so I have to buy this whole line. You think I can rebuild that? Well, what I mean by rebuilding is, do you think I can just twist it around and make it hold fuel? Well, I'm pretty sure I fixed it, but if you guys hear about me on the news, like with video and stuff, I tried. You know, this is the moment when I just kind of scan back and forth and see if there's anything I forgot. Looks like I did it all. So let's spin it around facing the other way and hook it up under the truck. Now keep in mind, earlier I said I was going to use a transmission jack, and this has a lot of fuel in it, so now I guess I'm going to get a floor jack, put it up under there with a piece of wood or something, and just basically aim it. It's not so much weight that it's going to kill me. This is also when I take the next 2 to 3 hours looking around in my garage for this bolt. Is that the biggest time waster of all time or what, guys? It's just crazy how much time is lost looking for a piece. Well, tank's back in. I don't want to put the cover back on there until I'm sure that nothing's leaking, but man, if I did not edit out the cussing, this would be a 4-day video. Whew, it was not good. Lots of rusty stuff, but I'm almost done, and now it's time to turn the key forward and see what happens. See if we have anything leaking. And it started. It's a little rattly because the cover's not on there, so it's kind of metal on metal. And that's rattly as hell. Gotta get that cover on there, but as of now, don't see anything leaking there. And there shouldn't be anything leaking up here at all. So, this truck's a little rigged. Hit a deer a few years ago. All I have to do now is put that cover on. You know, if I'm being honest, this would have been about a 3-hour video, but I edited out all the cussing. And that's all I have to do now. I didn't see any leaks. Waited about 5 minutes, put the cover on. Still no smell. Nothing weird going on, no drips. Yeah. Let's call it done. I'm gonna keep a fire extinguisher with me in case, because I mean, I know me. Well, it's running well. The other day somebody said, why do you talk so loudly in your videos? Well, I got me some big old hog tires on here, man. They're like the Iron Man off-road. Should be on like a monster truck or something. I use them to drive cross country with. Anyway, the truck's running great. I appreciate you guys watching. Remember, check out all my shorts. I go looking around all the time, finding really cool cars, trucks, motorcycles, anything that's cool. So go check those out too. Thank you for watching, and if you would, please subscribe. That means a whole lot to me.